what?
So the next selector we are going to look at is adjacent siblings combinator. So this selector is used to select elements that are directly adjacent to each other and are nested in the same parent. So just like we've said, this is a div. It has h2 as its parent, p as its it has h2 as its child, p as a child, the span as a child, and another p again as a child. So how do we select this? So to use the adjacent sibling combinator, it means that the elements we are trying to select, they must be directly adjacent to each other and are nested in the same parent. So if I want to style this particular p tag with the class good, the class name of good, the first thing to do is what? Write out the span tag, use the plus sign, which is used for adjacent sibling combinator, then the p tag, then give it the color red. Can you see? I am currently learning about selector. Can you see? The color changed to red. But if you notice that the p tag just before the span, the p tag with the id text, I enjoy learning at instinct hub, the color of that p tag, the color of that p element did not change. Why? Because it is not directly adjacent to this span. Why? Because it is before the span. So the element we are trying to select is the one that is directly adjacent to the span, which is the p with the class good. So that is why the color changed to red. So but if we want to target the p with the id text, if we want to style it using the adjacent sibling combinator, we are going to use the h2. Why? Because the h2 is a direct sibling to the p. So what we'll do now is, let's just come back here. Let's do h2 plus p. Let's give it a color green. Let's save it. Can you see? I enjoy learning at instant hub. So let's comment out this span declaration here. Sorry. Let's save that. Can you see? Even when we used h2 adjacent selector, adjacent sibling combinator with the p tag, it did not style the p with the class good, which is I am currently learning about selector. Why? Because this p with the class good is not a direct sibling to the h2. The only p that is a direct sibling to the h2 is the p with the id text. So that's why we have the color green here. Do you understand? So let's uncomment the style here. So when we uncomment that, let's save it. You can see change back to what? Change back to red. So those are the selectors we have. So let's look at one more. There's this pseudo selector also we have. The word pseudo means entities that are not displayed in the DOM. The pseudo selectors we have can be divided into pseudo classes and pseudo elements. So let's take a look at the pseudo classes and the pseudo elements. So to represent pseudo classes, let's add a link tag. Let me clean some of these things up. So let me clean some of this up. So let me add a link tag. Let me remove some of the styles we have here. So let me add a link tag. Href. Let's say HTTPS. Let's say Google. So let's save this file. So pseudo classes, they do not appear in the DOM. The only elements we have here are just A, and we have the div, we have the h2, we have A also, which is a link tag, which is a child of the div. To the A tag, we can apply pseudo classes. Why? Pseudo classes such as visited, over, active. Do you understand? So now, those are the states. So those are the 3 states that the A tag have. So for example, I can come here and say A tag. Let me give it a default color. Select the A tag. Let's say color. Okay, let's just change some of the style. Like, let's remove the underline. Let's say text decoration. None. So that removes the style there. So to use pseudo classes, we use colon. So it's done like this: A colon. Let's use over. The over state. So this is a pseudo class. So we are saying we want to select the over state by using this pseudo class. So let's give it a color of orange. So let's save that. So now, whenever I over the link tag, it changes the color to orange. Can you see? But if we are to inspect this now, we can't find this selector, over selector, in the DOM structure. Look at, there's no way for us. The over is not specified in this HTML document, but through the pseudo class, we can select this particular state of this tag, such as over. So let's look at another one. So we can also do a visited. Let's change the color to red. So what this does is, whenever you've clicked on that link, it changes the color to red. Like, we might not be allowed to link to another site here since we are using Code Sandbox. It won't allow us to redirect to another site. So when you click on it and you visited that site, whenever you come back, the color will always be red, showing that you visited that link before. So the next one is active. So what this does is, let's say color yellow. So what this active class does is, whenever you are currently on that page, so if I click on this and I'm currently on that page, it changes the color of that link to yellow. So these are the pseudo classes for the link: over state, the visited state, the active state. So we use this colon as our pseudo class selector. This colon is our pseudo class selector. So let's look at the pseudo elements. So there are some other pseudo classes we have, such as, okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let me add another element here. We have p tag. Let's say I love CSS. You understand? Let's save that. So we'll come here. So based on the parent-child relationship we mentioned the other time, this div is a container is a parent to the h2 and the p and the link. So we can come here and use this pseudo class and say div colon. So this colon is more like the pseudo class selector. And let's say we can use nth child. We have nth child. Nth child, you specify the child you want, the number of the child you want, then give it let's say color brown. Can you see? So let's say 1. Let's say child, first child. So the first child are given a color of 1. So let's use the first child. So we're using the nth child now. Let's use the first child. Sorry. So the first child is given a color 1. Why? So we have the div. This is the second child. This is the first child, second child, and this is the last child. So let's try the last child. So let me remove. So the A, the last child. So that means if we have another A here now, it's going to select only the A, that is the last child. Let me use instinct of. Can you see? So despite the fact that we have two A tags, I think so. Basically, the pseudo class is used to select the first child and the last child. It's used to select a particular element that has more than one repetition. So the first one will select the first child of this, which is instinct up. The last child will select Google, which is a Google aspect one. So let's change this to the first child. First child.
What?